ago. Our first encounter with Romaniv was really shocking, and what you see now is a huge improvement, because when we first came, the boys all were dirty, their hands were dirty, there was saliva and feces on their hands, and dust and mud and everything, and they were so smelly. When we entered the room, we entered the smell, and not every person could stay in the room because you had an instant desire to vomit, and a bucket with feces was in the middle of the room, so who needed to use it, they could do it. And the whole building already soaked this smell, so it was hard to find, like, you come in, you breathe a few minutes, and then you need to go out for fresh air. And of course it depends on how sensitive you are, but